And her name is Dawn. On the 23rd of March 2010 she was born. She's got half a heart, yes you heard that right. You're looking at Supergirl fighting with all her might. So stick around and you will hear the amazing story about my girl right here.
Hey everybody and welcome back to Arch Adventures. If you are new here, my name is Jade-Marie and I'm the mother to almost 9-year-old Dawn-louise, who was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome. If you didn't know already, February is Heart Month and we've been making a series of videos to raise awareness for her condition and her life with it. What should you not say to a heart mum? And boy do I have a list for this one. So the first thing that I've had said to me, which really annoyed me, was we were in a dance class and one of the people who worked there said, "Oh wow, look at her. Imagine what she could do with a whole heart." That's not okay. That is not okay to say, okay? No, stop it. She is never gonna have a whole heart. So why pretend like she is? I don't want to play make-believe. I want to be proud of my daughter's accomplishments with her half a heart. Like, why not say, I can't believe how incredible she is, even though she's got half a heart. Don't say, imagine how much better she would be if she's going to have something that she's probably not going to get. Like, heart transplants are not easy things to get. So can we not pretend that she's going to get one, like, magically out of thin air? Like, it's not, like, imagine how good she's going to be when she's 30. Like, it's not something that's most likely going to happen. It's something that has a slither of the chance of happening, and it's another surgery which could cause her to completely change her body and her mind, which means that she may not even be able to dance after having a heart transplant if there's damage done to like her brain or something. So please don't say that to people. Please just be proud of how amazing heart warriors are, and don't say, imagine how much better they would be if they were normal with a whole heart. Like, that's not okay. Anyone who thinks that that's okay, please talk to yourself. Another thing that really hurt me once was, and I made a whole video on this, which I'll leave in the card above if you want to watch me cry and get miserable, because it did hit me hard. I posted on Twitter that I was really excited. I just had the best phone call, and I can't actually remember what the phone call was about, but I know it was something amazing. And somebody commented below it, "Is Dawn-louise getting a new heart?" Despite the fact that I never mentioned a transplant, and to get a transplant, she has to be in heart failure, which means she has to be dying. So by asking is she getting a new heart, you're basically saying, oh, is she dying now? Which hurts like so much, because that's my biggest fear, is that she's going to go into heart failure, because heart transplants aren't easy. Now, I can promise you, if she's going to be on the transplant list and she's going to get a heart, I'm going to scream hallelujah for organ donations and thanking everybody involved, including the donor, to saving my daughter's life. But if I just say that I've got the best phone call ever, it's probably not about that. Please don't assume that a child with a heart condition is going to get a heart transplant, because that is a very, very painful thing to think about, as it is, and then to have to explain why that's not happening is even more painful. Another thing that sort of goes on with the last two is the question, oh, can't she just get a heart transplant? As if it's that easy. Like, can't she just get a donut? There's plenty of them. They're everywhere. Like, that's not how transplants work. First of all, she has to be in heart failure. Then she has to be tested to see if she's fit enough to go through a transplant process. So she needs to have a surgery before then. Then she needs to go on a wait list. The wait can take years, like literally years. Then she has to have the surgery. Then she has to have rejection medications. And it's not a cure. She is still going to struggle in life, just with new different struggles. Also going to have a life expectancy still, which is going to be lower than that of someone who was born with a healthy heart, because again, it is not a cure, and she may again need another heart down the line if that one is rejected. So please don't say, can you just get a heart? Like, it's the easiest thing in the world, because it's not. If you do want to ask, you know, is it an option? Say that. Say, she's been through a lot. Is there a chance she could get a heart transplant? Would that better her life in any way? Like, there are so many different ways that you could say it that are better than, can't she just get a heart transplant? Like, it's picking up a donut at Greg's, you know? So yeah, please don't say that. Okay, so this next one made my blood boil. I was furious, but I am not one for confrontation, so I didn't reply. But I was on Facebook, where all good things happen. I was on Facebook, and there was something going on with somebody else who is also the mother of a child with the same condition as Dawn-louise. Now, we're not friends, but we do know each other. I won't explain how we know each other or anything like that, because it's not relevant. But basically, there were people who definitely did not like this mother, and they were commenting on something she'd posted, and one of these comments said she puts on that her child has a heart condition, because I've seen them in the garden playing on the trampoline, and I've only ever seen them in their wheelchair once. Now, there are so many things that are wrong with that statement. One, she's not putting it on. HLHS is the most severe, most life-threatening CHD there is. It is a terminal condition. Her child is literally dying from it. No matter how healthy they look, it is eventually going to catch up to them. They have been through many, many surgeries just to survive, to be able to play on that trampoline. And I guarantee you, they probably weren't on it very long, because HLHS warriors have very low energy. So for a child to be on a trampoline, that is like a massive, massive thing for a heart parent. And I guarantee you, you don't know anything. Now, the same thing happens with Dawn-louise. She's been in a wheelchair, and we took a really long walk down to the beach because it was a beautiful day, and there's a park down there. So when we got to the park, after walking 40 minutes, which she cannot do without a wheelchair, I get her out of the wheelchair so she can go down a slide. And I had a mother come over to me and literally start screaming in my face that I was faking my daughter's disabilities. And this is what annoys me about the main population, is people don't realise that disabled doesn't equal wheelchair permanently. Disabled can mean many different conditions that disable the person from living a normal, healthy life. So please do not judge someone on their visibility of their illness. You cannot see every disability condition. That you can actually see is that she has blue lips and scars. And what's worse is people don't even realise that blue lips means low oxygen, which is scary considering that it also could be somebody choking or dying. Like if they don't have a pre-existing condition that's causing it, low saturations are dangerous for people. Like Dawn-louise has to live with it, she's got no choice. But say if my lips were blue and I didn't know, and I'm just walking around with blue lips, and people don't think that that's like not good, like please go educate yourself on what cyanosis is, because you could literally save someone's life if you see somebody suddenly go blue and you just say, oh, are you okay? I've noticed that you have a blue tinge and I know that means low oxygen. Just wanted to make sure you're okay, because that is much better than like just yelling at people. It just really annoys me that people don't realise that just because somebody looks well doesn't mean they are. And just because you've seen a child with a heart condition run around for a few minutes doesn't mean they don't have a terminal illness still, doesn't mean that they aren't most likely going to die from it at a young age. And then what's worse is underneath that comment was another comment saying, and with like laughing emojis, we should contact Make-A-Wish because I know that they got a Make-A-Wish trip to Disney because of this heart condition, in bracket, in these things, I forgot what they've called, I'm so stressed out, saying that they should call them and because they've clearly blagged a free holiday. Like, no, do you even have any idea what the process is to get a wish? To get a wish trip, your doctors, your specific doctors that are to do with the condition, not a GP, the actual doctors that know about the condition, so a cardiologist in this case, because it's a heart condition, they have to sign off or they have to recommend the trip to the family. You can't just go, oh, I'd like a free holiday, please. My child has a heart condition. No, you need medical proof. You need x-rays, you need echocardiograms, you need actual like proof from the surgeon or cardiologist or whatever, you know, the condition is. And if it's a heart condition, then it's going to be a cardiologist that has to sign off on it. And what annoyed me the most is because my child is also getting a wish because she is likely going to die very, very young. And that is not something any child should be faced with. And what upsets me is that if the kids were bald, would you then consider them sick? Because there are children with alopecia who get better treatment because they look like they have cancer. And that is upsetting so, so much, because just because they look sick doesn't mean they are. And in our kids' case, they don't look sick and they really, really, really are. They are terminally ill. And that is what annoys me the most, is that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. So don't judge an illness on its visibility. I can't stress that enough. Just don't do it, because we go through so much as it is as heart families. And I mean any heart family, not just mine. We all go through so much. We're watching our children go into surgeries, in ambulances, struggling to breathe. We're watching them get a cold and it end them in hospital or possibly surgery. And we're told that there's nothing wrong with our kids because they're running around for a few minutes. Like, no, that's not how it works. Please go educate yourself. If you think that somebody is faking a disability, first go and look up the disability they're saying their child has or they themselves have. Go and educate yourself. Don't make a snap judgment. Unless you're a doctor, you probably don't know anything. So I'm sorry, but rant over. Another thing that people have said to me, whether it be old friends and I do mean old friends, or teachers, or, you know, class, like outside of school classes, things like that, I've had a lot of them say, oh, you're overprotective. And it's because, again, it's an invisible disability. They can't see the severity. They're not there when Dawn-louise is at the bottom of her health, when she is rushed into ambulances and she's on oxygen and she's having cannulas fitted for fluids and medications, and she's going into surgery because she's gone into heart failure. And, you know, when she had her last surgery, she was absolutely fine. She got the best review ever, and then 6 months later she was rushed in on top of the list for heart surgery because she was not going to make it another year without it. So you can't say that I'm being overprotective when you can't see what is actually going on with her. Whereas I'm with her every single day, apart from when she's at school, and I see her when she's at her worst. You see her when she's at her best. So you really can't say that somebody's being overprotective if you don't actually know what's wrong or what they're actually going through. Another thing that makes me laugh is some people will say, don't bubble wrap your kid. You know, let them go and play in the mud and fall over and things like that. But what they don't realise is if Dawn falls over, she gets a bruise. If the bruise is big enough, we have to go to hospital to get it checked over. Then we have to come home and watch it and make sure that no lumps are coming up and that no blood clots are forming. Because if blood clots form, she's at risk of heart attacks and strokes. So yes, as much as I would love to see my daughter just run around and fall over and not give a damn, at the end of the day, her falling over could lead to her life changing forever. Like, strokes can really change somebody's quality of life. So I'm sorry, but yes, I am going to bubble wrap a little bit, metaphorically, although I have considered literally doing it because she does fall over all the time. It's not because I'm overprotective, it's because I want my daughter to survive. So even though I do give her, you know, room to run around and everything, I'm not constantly, you know, holding on to her. When she falls over, I do have to take it very seriously because what could happen afterwards, the consequences of that can actually be very serious. And it's not just a case of her getting a few scrapes and bruises. She could get an infection in her blood because of like a scratch on the floor in the concrete. You never know what's on the floor. You don't know, you know, what kind of germs are on the floor. So I have to take it very seriously. I can't just run it under cold water and leave it. We have to make sure it's medically cleaned out. It's got antibacterial gel on it. We've got the right kind of, you know, things to wash it out with, like saline and stuff, or antibacterial wipes. She has to be properly cared for, otherwise her life is in danger. And I think that that's something that people don't understand, is that I'm not worried because she's just fallen over. I'm worried about what's going to happen a week from her falling over. I remember when she was about 4 years old, we were in Tesco and we were queuing up, and it was August, it was summer, it was really hot, but she was blue and she started to shake a little bit. And it was because there was like an aircon over the top of the line, and where I needed to buy her things, and we'd been in the line for a while now because it was very busy, we were just like, you know, once she gets outside she'll warm up again because it's summer, it's really hot. Unfortunately, somebody decided to turn around to me and call me an awful parent because she was obviously so cold and needed a coat. What they didn't know was that it's purely, she was fine 2 seconds ago, she'll be fine in 2 minutes when we get back outside. It's just she can't handle the body changes and keeping her body warm. She's suddenly hit by cold air. So the reason that she was blue is because of low oxygen, and then that got darker with her being cold, and the shivering was just her sensitivity to it. And she was perfectly fine, and I knew that she was perfectly fine, but this person decided to have a go at a stranger in a queue in Tesco's. And I really wish that people would just mind their own business unless they really feel like they're gonna have like a good impact. Like, say, you know, if my daughter suddenly collapsed, sure, ask if we're okay and need help. But if my daughter is giggling away with just a little bit of a jiggly jaw, then please leave us alone. The other things that bothers me is when people who are expecting babies say, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, I just care if it's healthy. Because the whole point of that statement is that you don't care if it's a boy or a girl because you won't love it any less, but you're saying as long as it's healthy. So if you're taking that for what it is, you're saying, I don't care if it's a boy or girl, I'll love it the same, but if it's not healthy, I won't love it the same. And either people don't realise that that's kind of how it's coming off, and they're a bit just too ignorant to what other people go through, or they really don't think that they could love a child who wasn't healthy. So please stop saying that. If you are having a baby, just say, I'm really happy that I'm pregnant and having a baby, and I'm really excited to find out what gender it is. Like, leave the healthy stuff out, because at the end of the day, that gender scan that everyone's so excited about is not even a gender scan, it's an anatomy scan. And that is when you find out if your child has something like Down syndrome or hypoplastic left heart syndrome. It is a very important scan, and people only seem to care about the gender. And I'm sorry, but you need to do some more research and actually focus on whether that baby is healthy. And if it is, love it the same as you would whether it was a boy or a girl. Because I guarantee you, an unhealthy child is still an amazing child with just more difficulties in life. I could not possibly love Dawn-louise any more than I do. I don't care that she's not healthy, because the only thing that upsets me is that she won't get the life that she deserves. But it doesn't stop me loving her, not one bit. If anything, it's made me love her more and made me cherish her more, because I know that my time with her is limited. Now, I'm a carer, and I've had even people I consider close friends tell me that I have it so easy because I don't have to work whilst they're at work and they're tired because they've been at work for hours. But it's not easy. It's very, very far from easy. And I can tell you now, I would love to work, because I hate being stuck at home, just constantly waiting for the phone to ring to see if my daughter's poorly and needs an ambulance again. That is not fun. It's not like I can go out and do things that I enjoy. I'm stuck at home waiting for a phone call that my daughter needs help. That isn't fun in any way. It's just a big ball of stress constantly. And although, yes, I am thankful that I can be here for Dawn-louise when she needs me, and during half terms and summer holidays, I can care for her and we can spend time together. I will never not be thankful for that, but it is far from easy. And I think that people really need to think about why I'm a full-time carer, because it's not like I'm a stay-at-home mum. I'm literally signed off as needing to be a full-time carer, because if I'm not, I have to pay a nurse to come and look after Dawn-louise because she can't go to a childminder. So it's definitely not what people think it is. And it's definitely not fun. I would much rather be working a 9-to-5 job, because at least then when you leave the office, it's done with. Whereas for me, I'm up all night with her sometimes, quite regularly actually. And the job is 24 hours. There is no getting away from it. There's no holiday. I'm constantly focused on her care, even when she's not with me, because I have to make plans for, you know, if I get a phone call right now and my daughter needs an ambulance, I have to have a bag packed, I have to make sure that things are switched off and everything, like, because we don't know how long we're going to be there. I need to make sure her medicines are up to date, that she's got enough left and everything. And I'm not really doing it justice, because it's hard to think of everything that I do all at once. But I can definitely tell you, I would much rather be sat behind a desk for 6 hours than sat here stressing for 6 hours, possibly running off to get my daughter before an ambulance does. Another thing that really annoys me is that I've had people actually ruin our days out, because they've come up and been like, oh, she's been stuck in blue sweets, or why is your 4-year-old wearing lipstick? Like, she's not wearing lipstick. It's cyanosis. Look it up. I remember on her 4th birthday, I took her to Paulson's Park, and we were having the most amazing day out as a family, and it was an amazing day and nothing was going wrong, and we were all so happy, until we went down a big wavy slide, and at the bottom of the slide, this woman goes, God, don't you think that you should take better care of her? Put some more clothes on her or something. She's clearly freezing. Her whole face is blue. And I spent a good 15 minutes in tears on my daughter's 4th birthday, because somebody just had to rub their nose in where it wasn't needed. And it really ticks me off so much, because that was something that was a huge moment for us. She was 4 years old. We didn't know that she was going to reach 4 years old. It was amazing and an incredible moment for us, and somebody ruined it because they wanted to judge us instead of just letting us have fun. We were all smiling and happy. Clearly Dawn-louise was absolutely fine. If she was cold, don't you think she would have been like shivering or something, you know? And what's worse is she actually did have loads of layers on. She didn't have a coat, but she had like this big hoodie on, and then like loads of layers on underneath it, and she had hats on and she had gloves on. The only thing that was missing was a coat, because it was March and it was actually relatively hot. And it really upset me that somebody ruined our day out. And what's worse is, as Dawn-louise got older, she had to deal with these people, and they're not even children, which makes it so much worse. These are adults I'm talking about. These are adults that have gone up to a child they don't know and criticised their appearance. Like, when is that ever okay? And we've had so many people come up to her and actually laugh in her face at the fact that she's blue. That's not okay. She's a child. Mind your own business. Go about your day. Leave us to enjoy ours, please. One of her favourite shops is Claire's, because she's really girly and she loves all the sparkly things. Me, I hate it. It's very expensive. But I remember we were so excited. It was Christmas time, and we'd been having a look around the shops and having fun with like all the funny Christmas things that you could wear. And we were getting ready to go to her dance class. And we went into Claire's quickly to see like all the funny Christmas glasses they have on, and we were trying them on and we were having a laugh. And then this lady comes over and she literally belly laughs into her face and says, oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen anyone as blue as you. What the hell have you been eating? And Dawn-louise burst out crying because you're literally picking apart the one thing that tells you that she's got a terminal illness. And when I said to her, actually, she's got a terminal illness, she's got a heart condition, the blue is because of oxygen, she didn't even say sorry. And that made it so much worse, is that she did not even care that she's now reduced a child to tears and she wouldn't even apologise. Like, what is wrong with people? Honestly, one of the things that upsets me most about this journey is I've realised how ignorant and selfish people are, and it really boils my blood that people would make a child cry and not care. Now, this isn't something you wouldn't say to a heart mum, this is something you wouldn't say to a heart warrior, but when Dawn-louise was in school, one of her classmates who knows full well that she's got a heart condition and that she struggles with things, and he was running past her in the hallway and went, "Come on, slowpoke," and like, that's not a big deal to most people, it wouldn't bother me at all, but one of the things that she does get upset about is the fact that in sports days she's always last because she can't keep up with her friends because her heart won't allow it. It doesn't have the energy to push her body that far. So even though it wasn't the biggest deal, it did still upset her because it reminded her of how different she is. And I just really wish that people would take on those things that most people could just brush off and really look at how it can affect somebody mentally, because at the end of the day, if she gets years and years of these types of comments, that is going to whittle down her self-confidence so much and cause her to be upset, and that's not what I want for her. So obviously it does upset me that people don't take it seriously if it does affect somebody. Like, if they're able to brush it off, great, but if it does affect them and it does make them sad, then it should be addressed. Well, there we go. I've got it all off my chest. I've had a good old rant, so thank you for listening if you have actually made it this far. That was definitely a big rant for me. But yeah, this is the last of Heart Month. I can't believe February is nearly over already. Like, today is the last day of February and it's gone really quickly. So roll on March, because that's when Dawn-louise's birthday is and she's going to be 9 and I'm so excited. And I can't wait to show, to surprise her with what we're doing because she doesn't know. But yeah, I'm really excited and I hope that you've enjoyed learning more about her journey. If you do have any more questions, we can always make another video just in general and do a normal Q&A. So you can still leave questions below if you do have anything left to ask. Don't feel like because Heart Month's over, we won't talk to you about it anymore. If you want to know more, we are really happy to educate and get the awareness out there. So do leave them below. I'm going to go because my voice is going. But thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell for future uploads and we will see you on Monday. Bye.
Everybody gives you advice, yeah, on how to live your life, how to live your life. Don't you know that life is full of surprises? You better realize